Good morning. Hi, guys. I always try to not say guys, but it always comes out. How are you? I thought today was Wednesday, but it's only Tuesday, so that's a good start, isn't it? Okay, so today we're going to do the stem, the mushroom stem. So there's two ways you can do this. I'm going to use the same colors that I used for underneath the cap to try and make it a little bit cohesive. And I'm going to use 3 strands for the fill and 2 strands for the outline. So the first way is if you want to have a nice smooth stem, no texture, then you're going to do a long satin stitch all the way down, just straight down. So I'm going to do the light color on the top, the brown color in the middle, and then the light color on the bottom again. That's what I'm going to do. You could also swap it if you wanted to have the dark color on the top, the light color on the bottom, and the dark color, or in the middle, and then the dark color on the bottom. You could do the same color for the whole thing. It's up to you. Hi, George. Or if you want to add a little bit of texture, but not a lot of texture, we're going to do kind of the same thing as we did up here, but instead of doing the 2 colors, we're going to do 1 color. So it really blends together, and we're going to do a proper long and short stitch. So there's the explanation. Like I said, there's 2 different ways you could go. If you wanted it to be nice and smooth, you're going to do the satin stitch, 3 strands straight down. So you can do your lines in the middle. Yeah. And then just straight up stitch it. Or I'm going to show you the long and short stitch. Now, some people really don't like the long and short stitch, but it's not really any different from this one that we've already done. The only difference is that we're going to do 3 strands and we're going to work like in rows instead of going 1 color, 1 color. We're going to do 1 color and then the same color and continue going down. So they're not going to be really short stitches. They're going to be quite long, but we'll see. We'll see how we get going. So let me make this small so I can, wow, lots of people waving. That's fun. Okay. Now with the long and short stitch, you're literally going to do like the same thing that we did before. And it's going to be my long and short stitch, which is like a mesh of thread painting and split stitch. Yeah. So you're going to kind of aim for long and short all the way down. And then the next row, I'll do it in a different color so you can see. Where's my skinny purple one? Oh, I think I took it upstairs. Oh, it's there. And then the next one will go into that. Yeah? So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea. We're just looking for no straight lines, so all of your stitches should be varied. And again, I'm going to do 3 strands. It's only 1 more strand than what we did for the cap and the stem stitch yesterday, but it's going to fill in this area a little bit more quickly than 2 strands would. So I'm going to make mine quite long. And we'll do an outline later. So don't worry about like, oh, I can't see it very well. I think the number one thing that I like about long and short stitch is that it doesn't have any kind of rule to it. So you don't have to do the one right next to it exactly the same as the one, 2 over. So it's never like long, short, long, short. It doesn't have like a pattern or anything like that. You can make them as long and short as you want to. And like I said, the ones that we're going to do in the next row are all going to blend into that. So just like these were 2 different colors, we want to go into those. So that's why it's like a thread painting, split stitch, long and short stitch, like mix of all of them. And again, if you want it to be smooth like this the whole way down, then just take these stitches all the way down to the bottom and just satin stitch the whole thing. That is okay. You see, I tend to keep getting like longer and longer and longer and longer. So we've got 1 row pretty much done. Now we're going to go for the next row. So you can come up between these 2, or you can go down between them. And again, we're making them long and short, so they should not stop in the same place. And we will outline this, so don't worry if there's some spaces that, especially towards the edge, you know, that aren't exactly perfect. Okay, let's do this side. This goes pretty quickly when you stitch it. Now, if you had 1 strand, this would blend in and you wouldn't really be able to see any of these lines at all. But we have 3 strands, it's a little bit thicker. And that's why you can see like the different color variations. Also, if you made them shorter, you'd make them blend in a little bit better, but I don't mind seeing that there for the stem. It's almost like it's growing, you know? Little mushroom guy. I'm almost out of thread. Now I'll say the same thing that I said about the red cap, is that some people feel like this is too chaotic for them. Meaning like you just put a stitch anywhere you feel like it. And they do not like that. Also, I don't know why, but I've done the 3 sections just like the top. So you don't have to do 3 sections. You could do 4 or 5, or you could really mix it up so you can't tell the sections at all. You can just see them really easy. And the back looks almost just like the front. Some people are really concerned about what the back looks like, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter that much. I like seeing all the work that I've done, though, I'm not gonna lie. But it's not like a big, like in some Chinese embroideries, you should have the same front as you do the back. Like that is skill. Mine are not the same. Like not even close. I'm just doing a little knot on the back. And if you really wanted to mix these up, you could even put some more stitches like the middle of this one to the middle of this one to like make it more mixed, blended. So I'm almost done with this, and then I can show you how to do the, oops, that's a little bit on an angle. And sometimes they get like that, so if they do, you can just put a stitch on top of it. You don't have to take them out every time that you're like, oh no, I made a mistake. Just obviously if they get a little bit too bulky, like if you do it too many times in a row, then you'll end up with like lots and lots of thread in one space. So just be a little bit mindful of that. David went to the store. He took Jessie for a walk this morning, and now she's laying on the sofa. And then he's just gone to the store to get stuff for spaghetti for dinner. I'm excited. I like spaghetti. Okay, so I've done the whole top here. And some people don't like this where you can completely see the 3 steps, because when you have the same color, you can really see that texture. So if you are not a fan, you can always go in and do a couple that are in the middle of these. And it will help to blend them together a little bit more. So even in that one area, you can see, again, they have to go the same direction as what you're doing. So you can't make one that's like on an angle. It has to be the same angle or direction of your stitches. But if you really are not a fan of like seeing those lines like that, like this, then you can do it like that, which makes it a little bit more blended. Which I don't really mind, but I feel like it's easier to do it this way than to make it super random from the beginning, because this gives you a little bit of order, and then after you can go and blend them together. This is also great if you found that actually you didn't cover them a lot the first time. So you have some spaces where you can still see the fabric through. Like here you can tell. Maybe you can't tell, but I can tell. There's white there still through the fabric. So I'll just add some there, and then we'll do the outline. And then what you're gonna do is the exact same for the middle and the bottom. So it's another one of those situations like yesterday where you just do this exact same thing on the other side. So let me do a little knot on the back. And I'm gonna take 2 strands of the same color I had yesterday, that like darkish brown color. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry. The thread had other ideas. And then I'm going to do a stem stitch on the side. Then we'll do a little, like, going into a buttonhole stitch on the bottom. I think it'll work. We'll see. Because if you remember, we have these lines like this on the bottom. We have them on the bottom down here. So we'll see if this right here will work. We'll do a little outline where we did it, and we'll put the loop on the outside. 2 strands, so we're still having that like delicate line there. What have I done? Oh, I pulled the thread through. So this is where if you do use knots, you need to avoid those. So we'll end in the corner like this. And let's see if this will work. So you're going to come up through here, however big you want that first one to be. Down in the corner again. Let's try and zoom in without giving you guys whiplash, making it. And we'll come up here. Yeah. And then up here. And however big you put these, that's how big the sections are going to be. So you want some to be tall and some to be short. You could also just do straight stitches for this, but I thought this might be quite fun. Add a little bit of interest. Hi, Trees. It was her birthday yesterday. Do you remember I told you in the live? I hope you had a good day. So we just want to make sure that these are, some are tall and some are short. I mean, don't get too crazy with it, you know? You don't want them to be like way up here. That's a little bit too much. Now, when you're happy with how many lines that you have, so I've got enough there, yeah? So I'm not gonna go up again. I'm just gonna finish it with a little straight line to the corner. And that's gonna secure that so it doesn't go anywhere. And then I can finish my stem stitch on the other side. So I'll come up on this side, down here, and then continue. And because these are only 2 strands, they will be a little bit more delicate than if you used 3 or 4 or 5. So make sure that you're using the right amount of strands for the amount of thick that you want your line. And it Looks like I might have to go back in with the red and put that line over a little bit, but we'll see. Maybe I can get away with it. Let's move it down a little bit so you can see. I'm just gonna pop over and try and fix this guy here. There we go. So there's the bottom part, well, the top part, but the bottom of this part. I think that looks quite nice. I'm gonna flip it over and then switch to 3 strands so I can do the middle, just like the bottom, just like the top. Why do I keep saying bottom? So if I were you, whilst you have this color out, well, first figure out how you want to do it. Do you want to switch colors for the middle? Do you want to do the same color as the top and the bottom and do the middle different, or do you want to do it all the same? It's obviously up to you. No, that's 2 strands too. So let's get 3 out so we can be the same. I told you I'm going to do mine this middle brown color for the middle. It is like a medium kind of brown. But you're going to do the exact same thing for the bottom as you did for the top. So I'm going to have these match in color, and then the middle part's going to be the brown color. So I'll do that exactly the same, except the colors will be swapped. So we'll see what it looks like with the white outline, or if I should just leave it, you know? Hi, online ESL teacher. That's fun. And don't forget, we need to go around the fox. So do not stitch over the fox. We need to go around it. And then you're going to need to tuck your stitches up under this one. And if you need to do the lines in there, then do the lines if that helps to keep them straight. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes if you just put a couple to keep you geez, that turned into a bit crazy. And then we continue. This is pretty much exactly the same the whole way down. I'll probably end up ending the video when David comes back from the store. So I'll just keep on going until he comes back. How about that? Just because Jesse's going to do a big howl, and then it's going to be, all the noises are going to be picked up on the video. Let's zoom in a little bit. We should be able to start the fox tomorrow if we finish all of this today. I know it is a lot, so don't feel stressed out if you don't finish. This part over here is essentially just satin stitch because it's hidden behind the ear. Do, 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 do. Veronica says, love all the texture you get. Yeah, see, I really like it too. I feel like I know I've said it before, but there's like a time and a place to have the texture there, you know, where some people like to do the satin stitch the entire time. One, it's quicker, way quicker. But two, it's that like satisfying, like silky shine you get when they're all in a row together. So nice. It looks so nice. But sometimes I feel like you just have to add that bit of something, you know? So no shame if you are a satin stitch lover and you're just like, nope, I'm doing a satin stitch the entire time. Don't even come at me with all of these different things. That's okay. It is really satisfying. But I think for a mushroom, and then we'll have the same kind of idea for the fox. You almost need those little stitches to show the fur and all of the ruffles underneath the mushroom. I might go back in and do a little, you can't see, but I might go in and do with the red, just a little stem stitch with 2 strands along this edge too, just to clean it up a little bit. Not around the whole thing, just the bottom edge. But we'll see how it looks when it's all done. Now, of course, you could do the texture at the top and then have this all be just regular satin stitch to make it really nice and smooth. Or you can continue with the same texture at the bottom. Honestly, there's pros and cons to both. So, like, don't ever feel like, oh, I didn't do what she did on hers. Or when I share some, feel like, oh, I didn't do it like that person, or you know, or, oh, they did it better than me, something like that. Like, don't ever think that, because you're doing your own hoop. So I'm just going to go back and blend these a little bit. Plus, oh man, that's bad. Hi. That's pretty all right, eh? I'll do a couple down here. God, it's horrible today. Okay, so there's the middle bit. Do I need a little bit over here on this side? Okay, and then we'll do the same color for the bottom as we did for the top. 3 strands again. Where are you? Can we do all the long and short before doing the outline? Of course. That's probably the way that I would normally work, is to do all the long and short stitch and then go back and add the outline after, just because you already have the color. I tend to work by color. So the only reason in the stitch alongs that I'll do one part and then the details and then go to the other part is so that people can leave if they would like to leave, so they don't have to watch the whole like 30 minutes of me doing one thing and then, you know, wait until the very end of the video to find out how to finish it. Now, I was going to start at the very top here because that's how I would normally start. But then I thought, actually, if I put the knot there, then when I go and do the outline, that's going to be a pain. So always have a think about that, where your knot is going to be. Miriam says, sadly have to leave for a work call now. Can't wait to get started on this. Oh, I can't wait to see it. And I'm fully aware I didn't upload yesterday's yet, so that will have to be done today. 2 videos to upload, but they're on IGTV, so they're not. You're not lost. Veronica says, fab, was just worried about messing up my outline. Not a problem. If you do the outline with the blanket stitch or the buttonhole stitch on the bottom, definitely do that afterwards. Don't do the outline first and then fill it in, because the blanket stitch sits on top of your thread painting, long and short, whatever you want to call it, stitches. And I do say whatever you want to call it because I know I've seen other stitchers do the same kind of stitch and call it something completely different, where I'm like, I think that's not what that's called. So it just goes to show that if you go to like a different person's account or you see a different person stitching, they might call it something different, and that's okay. So it could just be what they're taught, or it could be like a country thing. Different countries might have different names for different stitches, which are essentially the same stitch. So I tend to think that if it's one strand, it's probably thread painting, or if it's more, it's probably long and short stitch. Also, thread painting is more blending the colors, so you're going to use about, you know, for the cap, we only use 2 colors. You'd probably use about 7 colors to make that like an actual painting, just like you would if you mixed the colors with paint, you know? So if they're just filling in a section, then it's probably not thread painting. But if you're blending them together, using a lot more colors than you think you probably should, then that's probably thread painting. But again, different people call it different things. So that's just kind of what I look out for when someone says thread painting. I think, does it look like it's been painted, or does it look like a color by number type situation? And saying that, there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? Like, I know I tend to do like the caveats a lot, like there's nothing wrong with it, and other people do it this way, but that's okay, you know what I mean? But it's the truth. It's completely the truth. Like, don't worry about if people do it different than you, or even if I do it different than you. If you've got a way that works for you, then keep it. But obviously try my way, because my way is pretty good too. Okay, I'm probably going to end up stopping there because I've just heard the car pull in. But don't forget to tag. I cannot wait to see the colors for your mushroom. And make sure that you're putting all of your grid posts with the hashtag the Barmy Fox SAL. And that will make sure that I can see them all. I do have to go and check the hashtag more often, and my, tagged photos, you know? So that's it for me today. I'm sure Jess is going to go any second now. So this is what we've done. We've done the mushroom at the top here. We've got the long and short stitch slash split stitch slash thread painting for here. Then we've got the stem stitch on the sides. We've got buttonhole on the bottom, and then we just continue that all the way down. And then I'm just going to do the same outline on the bottom here, just swap it around. Yeah. Meaning that I'll do the buttonhole on the top and the stem stitch on the bottom. Yeah. So I hope you have a lovely, lovely, lovely Tuesday, because it's not Wednesday. It's definitely Tuesday. And I'll talk with you later. All right. Bye.